Picture two engineers standing in a car park in Tokyo in 1992, staring at two completely different vehicles wearing the same badge. One is a compact, aggressive little saloon that smells like rally mud even in showroom trim. The other looks like it was designed by a fighter pilot who moonlighted in Italian fashion. One of these cars was going to save Subaru, the other was going to nearly break it, and nobody inside Fuji Heavy Industries was entirely sure which was which. This is the story of the most audacious double bet in Japanese automotive history, a company that simultaneously tried to own the roads and conquer the elite, and how one of those bets paid off so spectacularly it covered the losses of the other and then some. Strap in, because this one gets wild. As business boomed for Fuji Heavy Industries in the late 1980s, Subaru got ambitious. Why not build an all-wheel drive, flat six-powered luxury Grand Tourer? That question, asked with the reckless optimism only a bubble economy can buy, set two of the most consequential projects in Subaru's history running in parallel, draining the same budget, competing for the same engineers at exactly the same time. But to understand why Subaru was gambling everything, you need to understand how desperate things actually were. By 1993, the company was posting record losses, carrying 300 days of unsold inventory, and suffering 6 consecutive years of declining sales. 300 days of cars sitting on lots. That's not a slow month, that's a slow year. Something had to change, and Fuji Heavy Industries decided the answer to one existential crisis was to start 2 enormous fights at once. Bet number 1, the People's Rocket. The Impreza debuted in 1992 as a calculated risk dressed up as a sensible compact car. ProDrive recognized that a smaller, nimbler platform would make a better rally weapon, 160mm shorter overall, 60mm shorter wheelbase, more neutral weight distribution. They built a car that was, on paper, less stable than what it replaced, and handed it to one of the most aggressive drivers on the planet. At its heart, a 2.0-liter turbocharged flat-4 producing approximately 300 horsepower, symmetrical all-wheel drive, and Group A durability. The Impreza made its WRC debut at the 1993 Finnish Rally with Ari Vatanen at the wheel. He drove it to second place. On debut, the Impreza had announced itself. But while Vatanen was chasing down the leaders in Finland, back in Japan, another team was pouring resources into something completely different, something that made the Impreza look modest by comparison. Bet number 2, the dream machine nobody asked for. Penned by Giorgetto Giugiaro, the SVX appeared in concept at the 1989 Tokyo Motor Show and reached production in 1992, looking near identical to the show car. This was Subaru's NSX moment. Their statement that a brand from Gunma Prefecture wasn't just about sensible wagons for farmers and ski instructors. The SVX was Subaru's first entry into the luxury and performance market, noted for its aircraft-inspired window-within-a-window glass configuration, part Fuji Heavy Industries T1 jet, part Italian supercar. The powertrain was equally ambitious. The 230 horsepower 3.3-liter flat-six EG33 was Subaru's largest engine at the time, and it was never used again after the SVX. When your Halo engine is a one and done, you're either ahead of your time or you've made a very expensive mistake. In this case, it was both. Then there was the fatal flaw no amount of Giugiaro styling could paper over. Subaru didn't have sufficiently deep pockets to develop a manual transmission capable of surviving behind the EG33, so the automatic was mandatory. In an era when every enthusiast buyer wanted 3 pedals, the SVX offered 2. Game over before it started. These 2 projects, rally-bred Impreza and Giugiaro-designed SVX, were happening simultaneously inside the same company, pulling from the same engineering pool at a time when the company was already bleeding. Imagine funding a Formula One team and a luxury yacht program at the same time, while your core business loses money. That's exactly what Fuji Heavy Industries was doing in the early 1990s. The moment the supercar, nearly killed everything. The SVX walked into a brutal fight. NSX 300ZX, RX-7, 3000 GT, Supra. And it walked in with both hands tied behind its back. The sticker price rang up nearly $10,000 higher than anything else in Subaru showrooms. Against that lineup with no manual option, it had no chance. Subaru forecast 10 Uazarero sales per year. The SVX managed 5, 280 in 1992 and 3, 859 in 1993. Roughly half the target in year 1, falling fast in year 2. Then Japan's bubble economy, which had funded the whole adventure, finished its spectacular collapse. The market that was supposed to embrace the SVX simply evaporated. The damage was catastrophic. Subaru lost $75 million on the SVX project. At a company already suffering 6 consecutive years of declining sales, this wasn't a bad product launch. It was a near-extinction event. The SVX had been banned by the market itself. The world voted with its wallets, and the verdict was merciless. By the end of 1996, the SVX got the axe. But here's the thing about making 2 enormous bets at once. If one of them really hits, it can cover a lot of sins. The Lifeline. While the SVX was quietly dying in showrooms, the Impreza was becoming a cultural phenomenon. Subaru's breakthrough came in 1995 when Colin McRae claimed the driver's title, becoming Britain's first World Rally champion and securing Subaru's first manufacturer's crown. From being an obscure Japanese car maker, Subaru was flung into the mainstream. The road car redefined what a 2.0-liter sports saloon should be capable of. Sales of Impreza road cars exploded. The rally wins were the most effective advertising campaign in Subaru's history, and they hadn't cost the marketing department a single yen in traditional spend. Every time McRae threw that blue and gold Impreza sideways through a forest stage, he was selling road cars to people who'd never attended a rally in their lives. Subaru took 3 consecutive manufacturers' titles from 1995 to 1997, cementing a reputation as the Ferrari of rallying. For a company that had been defined by sensible wagons and 300-day inventory backlogs, that phrase was nothing short of a resurrection. Special editions poured out, the McRae series, championship commemoratives, each one selling out, each one reminding the world that the Impreza was a connection to something genuinely glorious. The mirror image verdict. Fuji Heavy Industries made 2 enormous bets at exactly the same moment. One was rooted in what the company actually did better than anyone else: all-wheel drive traction, turbocharged efficiency, rally-proven engineering in something a teacher, a nurse, or a weekend racer could actually afford. The other was rooted in what the company wanted to be: prestigious, exotic, a player at the table with Ferrari and Porsche. The first bet won, not just because the Impreza was a better car for more people, but because the timing was perfect, the motorsport program was perfect, and the driver they put behind the wheel was arguably the most exciting talent in the history of the sport. The second bet lost. The SVX had impeccable ingredients, aircraft-inspired styling like no other car before or since, genuine engineering ambition, a Giugiaro origin story. It lost because the market it was chasing didn't exist in the size Subaru needed, because the bubble economy disappeared, and because no amount of design genius overcomes the absence of a manual gearbox when your target buyer demands 3 pedals. But the SVX's failure wasn't entirely in vain. The ambition it represented, the prestige it attempted to claim, the statement that Subaru could dream this big, all of it lived on in the Impreza STI, in the 22B, in every special edition that followed. The SVX said we can dream this big. The Impreza said here's how we actually get there. 2 bets, 1 winner, and a story that proves the most important strategic decision a company can make isn't which dream to chase, it's which dream the world is ready to share with you. If you love stories like this, the behind-the-scenes gambles, the near disasters, the moments where automotive history could have gone completely sideways, hit subscribe because we've got a lot more coming, and drop a comment below. Which side of this bet would you have taken in 1992, the Impreza or the SVX? Because honestly, looking at the SVX now, it's not as obvious as you'd think.